Power creep is what happens in a video game when developers are. It's usually with a hero FPS hero shooter. It's when developers keep releasing characters that are part of a game that is usually centered around abilities or something like that. And over time, just character after character, the characters get more powerful as they get released and as time goes on. So a the when we first saw this happen was in Overwatch with like when double shields first started being a thing, or when the goats team comp started happening. That's when we first really saw power creep, because characters just started getting stronger and stronger as time progressed, and it enabled people to do things that would not have even been possible with with the like starter characters in the game. And you can also talk about this with Apex, with like with the just the starter characters. With like Pathfinder is probably the best example of this. Pathfinder and Wraith. Like Pathfinder he can grapple and he can make a zip line, and he can like scan recon beacons, but that's it. He has no like true passive like a lot of other characters have. Like even Wraith, she has a true passive where she can hear voices when somebody's ADSing at her, like High Alert and COD, right? So the issue is that Pathfinder is kind of like has no passive. He just has these couple abilities. He can grapple, make a zipline. But then, a couple years down the line, when with a bunch of more updates, you release a character like Valkyrie, who has, you know, Rocket Barrage, can skydive with her entire team. Her Rocket Barrage has a stun. She can also fly with a jetpack as a passive, and it's just insane. And just as time goes on, these characters get progressively more powerful. Even with like Octane, he goes fast. He can run faster. He can jump pad, and he regains health. Right, that's his passive, and that's what he does. But then you get to a character like Seer, who has wall hacks, and the wall hacks also disrupt the enemy's the enemy's healings. And the wall hack also acts as a flashbang, because when the wall hack hits you, you can't see anything for a second. And it also it also damages the enemies for 10 HP, so you could feasibly get a kill with it. And just all these things, and it just keeps going. He also gets an ult that if you're inside the ult, dude, it's just so much. It just keeps on going, and as video games progress, it just happens with almost every single hero shooter, where as they release more and more characters, power creep just starts happening, and every single one gets more powerful than the other. And even in like Valorant, with like Phoenix, he could he could like flash, he could make walls and stuff, but then you release like Gecko, who has all these things. Like he has a one ability that plants the bomb for you, which no other character has ever been able to do ever. And like he also has a flash. He also and it just gets crazy. And I'm not saying Gecko's overpowered or anything, but what I'm saying is characters just get crazier and crazier as time goes on, and that's the point I'm trying to make. And I think it's a serious issue in live service games. And again, we see this most often with hero shooters, because those are the ones that rely on like abilities, and they push updates with a new character to keep you invested and interested in the game. And because of this, a lot of times they want to release a character that is powerful, and that does make stuff fun sometimes. Like when Valkyrie drops, right? Everybody wants to play Valkyrie because she seems like a lot of fun. It's like, even if a dev wants to put a new gun in the game, they don't want to release a gun that is underpowered and everybody's like, this gun sucks, I'm not going to use it. They want to release a new gun that is a lot of fun to use, and to do that, you got to make a gun powerful. So they release a gun purposefully overpowered. Like Respawn did this with the Nemesis recently, where they released it, and and it's really strong, and they'll let people have their fun, so that they're like, oh cool, I'm having fun playing the game, we're gonna keep doing this. And then they'll nerf it back and they'll draw it back, right? And it's a good engagement tool, and it works well. But I think if you let it go unchecked for too long, you slowly get this power creep, where the devs aren't even, they probably notice, but they're not doing anything to pull back that power creep and make it so that all the characters in the game are on the same level, like playing field. Like a Pathfinder player could kill a Seer player, right? And he can do it decidedly so. But the issue is that the Seer has a much wider toolkit than the Pathfinder, right? That's the point I'm trying to make here. As power creep goes on, just the people who are using characters that came out later have more options, and more stuff happens, and that's an inherent problem, I think, here. And just think about how many videos you've seen of people like with the thumbnail like this gun is insane in Warzone 2, or like this new character is OP or something like that. And it makes for an exciting time, and I understand why, but I think game devs need to really um I think they really need to make an effort to draw back the power to what they started at. So for example, like I think you could release a Legend Strong in Apex, but I think eventually you should kind of draw them back to like the Wraith, the Caustics, the Pathfinder, like level of how powerful and how much stuff they can do with their toolkit. And I think that's how you should manage it. But you also have the other option of bringing up the old characters up to new ones. Because if everything's OP, nothing's OP, right? That's I think that's the I think that's what people say the League of Legends route is. I don't play League, but I think that's what I've heard is that um everything in that game is overpowered, so nothing's overpowered. So I think that's one of the ways you could do it is where like even well, I'm gonna keep using the Pathfinder example because it's a good one. You could just give Pathfinder like a super crazy passive. I don't know what it would be, but you make him more powerful or give him an extra thing that he can do to match him up with these characters that came later that are clearly more powerful than he is. And I think that's one way to do it, but I would prefer if they nerfed the newer characters and brought it back because I'm a bit I like it a bit more simplistic. I like doing things fundamentally, and that's just how I am. But let me know what you think. How would you address the power creep issue? And as always, I have a link down below. You should click on it. It goes to all my other stuff. Thank you very much for watching. GG's and goodbye.